Today, I'm gonna take you through my top 7 body weight exercises for building strength. Hey, how's it going everyone? My name is Devin Ricker, and if you're new here, I help you lose weight, gain muscle, and prevent injury from the comfort of your own home. So make sure to like and subscribe and visit our website, rickerfit.com, for more information on how you can stay fit and healthy from your own home. So let's dive into it. Okay, so for my first of the 7 body weight exercises for building strength, you have to go with squats. Squats are a phenomenal exercise, and I know they're often overused by personal trainers, but that's for a good reason. Squats not only work your quads, but they also work your glutes and your hamstrings and your core. Squats are pretty much a full body exercise, so I always recommend having them in your program no matter who you are. Now, you may have some limitations where you may not be able to squat as deep as others, and that's totally fine. There are variations for that. So the basic squat looks like this. Make sure to start with your foundation. Have your feet hip to shoulder width apart, have them slightly pointed out, and then as you squat down, have your knees trace in the same direction as your toes. At the very top of the lift, move your butt back and hinge forward at the hips, and then squat down. Go down as deep as you can, keep your heels flat on the ground, and keep your back straight. And then come back up and repeat. Now, a lot of people think that you shouldn't let your knees go in front of your toes, but actually it's a lot better for your knees to do that. That is a common myth. So if you have the mobility to do so, keep the knees out over the toes as you squat and keep your feet flat on the ground while doing so. And that's gonna be a lot more healthy for your knees. Bodyweight exercise number 2, the push-up. This is probably the most common bodyweight exercise there is. It's how I started working out myself when I was a kid. Push-ups are so important. They're not just important for chest, shoulder, and tricep strength, but really for overall body strength. Think about it, when you're doing a push-up, you're also basically holding a plank with your core. So you're working a lot of your upper body, including your abs and your core. Push-ups are a great exercise to build the overall upper body strength, including the core. So how do you perform them properly? Well, you want your hands just outside of the shoulders, and I almost always like to line up my wrist and my elbows. And when you do this, make sure that your wrist and elbow are lined up. As you go down, your elbow should be bent just slightly below a 90-degree angle at the very bottom, and then you go up to a full lockout at the top. When you do the full lockout, that's gonna engage the triceps a lot more. When you go all the way down, that's gonna engage and stretch the chest a lot more. So make sure to do that. And there's a couple of common mistakes. A lot of times people would just push their upper body up and they'll let their butt sag down, or they'll let their core sag down. So make sure not to do that. Another common mistake is that they won't have their core engaged and their butt will be up too high, and they'll be doing like a quarter rep or some weird sort of rep. Make sure not to do that. You wanna have your full body going as close to the ground as possible and then pushing as far up as you can. Bodyweight exercise number 3, hip thrust. This is probably the best bodyweight exercise that you can do at home for your posterior chain. The posterior chain is simply the hamstrings, the glutes, and the lower back. And hip thrust works all of those muscles. So how do you perform a hip thrust? Well, find yourself a chair or a bench or a couch or something like that. Have your feet out from you. I like to put my feet at about the same position that I would a squat, about hip to shoulder width apart. Have your feet slightly pointed out, have your knees in that same direction. And then what you're gonna do is plank with your body where you're straight. So at the top of the lift, your knees and your shoulders should make a straight parallel line to the ground. Then you drop your butt down as close to the ground as you can get it, and then you bring it back up and you squeeze those glutes and those hamstrings and lower back. Exercise number 4, crunches. It can be so easy to mess up crunch technique. A lot of times you'll see people going really fast and doing like half reps, but when you're doing a crunch, make sure you're going all the way back. And a quick little helpful tip on how to do them with a full range of motion is to just simply put a pillow under your upper back and let your back arch over top of that pillow to expand the abs and the rib cage even more, and then do a full crunch from there. You don't have to go all the way up. It's not a sit-up, so we're not really gonna be engaging the hip flexors that much. This is straight up abs. So we come about halfway up off the ground, make sure your shoulder blades come off the ground, and then go back down and extend it all the way again. A bonus exercise to go in here would be reverse crunches. Now, reverse crunches are the opposite. Instead of crunching up with your upper body, you crunch up with your lower body, and that's really gonna engage the lower abs. Just make sure that your knees and feet are together, your feet start close to the ground but not quite touching, and then your knees rock up to where your butt comes off the ground, you crunch with the lower abs, and then you bring your feet back down. When doing this, I like to put my hands in a diamond shape right under my butt, and the lower they are, actually, the less pressure you'll feel on your lower back when doing this. Exercise number 5, reverse lunges, and more specifically, elevated reverse lunges. So the reason I like reverse lunges as compared to normal lunges is it takes off a lot of that tension on the knee. You don't have as much shearing force on that front knee when you're doing a reverse lunge. Also, whenever it's elevated, you can go down and feel a deeper stretch in the glutes, in the quads, and the hip flexors. So ultimately, we know that the better range of motion that you have on every lift, it's gonna be better for you overall as it recruits more motor units. So make sure you prop yourself up just a few inches off the ground, even up to half a foot off the ground or so, and then lunge back with that back knee getting very close to the ground, not quite touching, but very close, and then standing back up and engaging the glutes all the way at the top. So bring your glutes all the way forward and then go back down into the next rep. Exercise number 6, pull-ups. This is the #1 body weight exercise that you can do to develop your back. When you do this, make sure that you have a full range of motion. You should extend your arms all the way at the bottom of the lift and then arch your back and squeeze your back really tight at the top of the lift. Now you can do this with a wide overhand grip, which is the technical way to do a pull-up, but you can also do a chin-up where your hands are supinated and everything's tucked in a little bit tighter. That's gonna engage your biceps a little bit more. Either way, make sure that you're doing a full range of motion where you're extending the arms and the shoulders all the way at the bottom of the lift and then coming up over the bar at the top of the lift. The final exercise, exercise number 7, is dips. Dips are a perfect exercise to develop the triceps and the chest. And doing dips from home, you can literally just find a chair or a couch or a bench or something like that and do them behind you. Now you won't get as much chest involvement, but you're gonna get a whole lot of tricep involvement doing it this way. Have your feet out in front of you. The closer your feet are to your body, the easier it's gonna be. And the further away from your body, the harder the dip is gonna be. You can even have them propped up on another chair if you want, and that's gonna make them even harder. I like to aim for my upper arm to be at least parallel to the ground, which means that I'll have slightly less than a 90-degree flexion at the elbow joint. And then at the top, you want to extend all the way up and lock out your arms to really engage those triceps. This is a killer arm exercise. If you've never given it a shot, try it out today. So that has been my top 7 favorite body weight exercises for building strength, all of which you can do from the comfort of your own home. And hey, remember, if your goal is to lose weight, you don't need any equipment to do so. You can implement these exercises and a few other tips. In fact, I have a video linked right here that you can check out on how you can lose weight fast from the comfort of your own home with no equipment required. So make sure to check that out and like and subscribe for more content on how you can lose weight, gain strength, and prevent injury from the comfort of your own home. Guys, thanks so much for watching. I will see you in the next video.